Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to Klonoa. We're back at the High Priestess, or H-Priestess, as she prefers to be called.
Man. Oh man, now it's High Priestess.
God, did you just not read my subtitle earlier?
Well, she looks like she's a high priestess right now. Like, look at how red her eyes are. Jeez.
Oh man. You should have been here last night. Lolo, it was awesome. The new stuff.
Her name used to be Leo? We're fighting a Ninja Turtle? No!
No. Yeah, we've got the shocking revelation that Leorina, or whoever she prefers to go by now, used to be a priestess. Not that that has anything to do with anything, because we don't care.
You are no longer baked. Therefore, you are no longer worthy of the priestess title.
I don't know, she looks pretty
Hey,
baked.
hey, wake up! Wake up, I'm talking to you!
Man, you know, someone in the art design team had to realize what these eyes looked like.
Like, I can't tell if you're angry, you're squinting at me because you're suspicious.
Maybe she just has something in her eyes. I don't know.
Everybody has something in their eyes.
You could have chased after her, whacked her upside the head.
Now, my memory over the last week has been pretty shitty. Who are we talking about, and what is their relation to what's going on?
She's the evil monkey girl who's been taking our marbles and being a dick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that character I mistook for a guy before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, there she is.
There she is.
Behold, the 4 marbles.
Of doom!
No, even worse, they're gobstones. Those Harry Potter marbles that squirt smelly stuff in your eye if you lose a point.
Hey, somebody worked really hard on that statue. You're gonna just break it? Man.
And reshape it in her image? Or is she just gonna break it?
Well,
Oh, no,
actually,
just
it looks
breaking
like it
apart.
was made out of white chocolate, so you know what? Never mind.
Oh, the bitch!
Maybe it's gonna come to life and then fly into town and purge it of all demons. And she can stand on top of it, proclaiming herself the savior. Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong game. I'm sorry.
I thought you were going for a incorrect Ghostbusters 2 reference, but okay.
Nah, that was Devil May Cry 4.
Ah, okay.
The remastered edition sounds pretty cool, by the way.
I actually, just to talk about this, I actually went and bought the definitive edition of DMC for the PS4. Haven't tried it out yet, though.
I'm looking forward to playing it because they basically fixed all my gameplay problems. But I'll probably record Virgil's Downfall from that if I ever get the chance and talk about the upgrades there. There's manual lock-on! Manual lock-on! Also, they apparently they fixed the color-coded enemies problem, where you don't need to use specific weapons on specific enemies to fight. You can mix it up more. So that's cool. I'm more interested in Devil May Cry 4 though, because they added 3 playable characters.
That's always a good way to get you to play an updated version. It's just like, here, have a new playable character. Just like, okay, now I've got a reason to actually
Don't mind if I do.
Because
Well-
Ooh, there's caramel in this one.
Well, they added Virgil, who was playable in 3. They added Trish, who was playable in 2. And then they added Lady, who was playable in Never. So that's new. But Klonoa is actually happening.
well, not really.
That was an actual. That was a level.
No, that was
don't
just
tell.
that was just a
was-
cutscene at the end of the level.
Okay.
Okay.
No, well,
So it was just-
there have been instances where there were cutscenes that were entire levels, though. So
Yeah.
I think that might have been that. Yeah, way to dance. You let the bad guy cause bad shit to happen. La la kush.
La Lakushka.
Wait, what?
I have enough things to do the bonus level now, so let's do that.
It's finally happened.
Babushka. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably wrong. I was like,
Oh, what's going on? What's going on here?
Bonus level time.
I was trying to make an Addams Family reference, and I probably failed horribly because it's been like 10 years since I've seen it.
Oh yeah, that was that dance they did, right?
Yeah.
The ceremony.
Yeah.
So what's the point of this level?
It's a bonus level.
What do you get for doing it?
What do you do?
You get a bonus level.
It's a bonus level. It's here for the point. It's here for the sheer pleasure of playing a bonus level.
Is that a Shark Tank?
To be fair,
sure.
it does look pretty fun.
Well, yeah, it looks a lot more energetic than a lot of the other levels. But wait, hold on. So did you purposefully choose to go to the bonus level right as soon as the bad guy was about to complete their evil plan?
Yep.
Yep. Gotta go to the gold saucer after all.
We also need to go help the Moogles with their mail problem.
Yeah, the meteor's falling in 7 days, but my chocobo's not gonna feed itself. Fuck's sake. Sephiroth can wait. What a prick.
I love RPGs.
It's like, I could stop Sin. Or I can have these creatures breed so I can battle Nemesis.
Or you could turn off Final Fantasy X and play a good game.
10 is great.
9 is better.
Shut your... Yes, 9 is better. But I like 10.
So this level's timed. Is there a certain incentive for beating a specific time, or is it just for...
Not that I know of.
Oh, that looked pretty fancy.
What, the double jump that I used before in a previous level?
It was more like a lightning bolt.
Yeah, it's a double jump.
If you did use it before, I just was not giving a shit.
Yeah,
Ryan used it at least a few times before, but it was only ever to break specific blocks, as opposed to here where he used it like to actually platform. Like, this actually looks like a pretty fun level, because you're using Klonoa's abilities in a way that you don't, in a way that you've never really had to before this. Like, I think you've never really had to, like, double jump on multiple enemies at once or something. So I think, yeah, I think you're right in that this game looks an awful lot more fun once you get to the point where you actually have to start trying.
Well, the first Klonoa game, or at least the Wii version, was kind of in the same boat, I think, because there was like the overall difficulty wasn't that bad, but there were a few specific challenging parts of the game, most notably, like, I think an optional level.
Klonoa for the Wii, well, the first Klonoa game, I should just say, looked like, I think, cause I only say looked like because I can never really play Klonoa for the Wii, but it definitely looked like a platformer that was designed for children.
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing wrong with that, just saying.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I think it took a hit because of that simplicity. Just from overall quality. 2, as I remember we said this in last week's session, but 2 looks like it was built for those that really enjoyed 1, so they're gonna ramp up everything.
Yeah, because, again, like, I haven't watched anything related to Klonoa in years. Well, I guess I watched Klonoa 2 last week, but I haven't watched anything related to Klonoa 1 in years, so I don't remember it very well, but from what I've seen, this game looks like a lot more fun to play, because it doesn't look particularly hard, it just looks a lot more interesting to play. Like, you can have a game be easy and still have interesting level design. Kirby does it all the time, so...
Yeah, I said before, I said this in my Sonic Heroes LP for SGB, I'd rather have a fun time, not a hard time.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you'd rather play Team Dark?
Ted, this is not April Fool's.
Yeah, well, to put it in context, though, when we look at older games and say they're too easy, I always have to remind myself that at the time, designing games with children in mind first was a lot more common.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the original Super Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog, whatever, those were all designed for kids, and they're still plenty hard. My issue with easy games is when they're so easy that you don't have to even try. Like Kirby's Epic Yarn is my big example. You do not have to try, because every time you get hit, you get infinite invincibility frames, so you can just walk through the entire level without having to give a shit. And but if you compare it to, like, say, Rayman Origins, where there is no penalty for dying, much like Kirby's Epic Yarn, you still have to try to finish the level, because you have to go back to a checkpoint. It's a very generous checkpoint, but it's still, you have to actually complete the challenge in order to get through, as opposed to doing that trick where you abuse invincibility frames, but just forever instead of for, like, 2 seconds.
Well, on that tangent, like, Ted can think of Kirby's Epic Yarn, but can you guys think of like Lewis or Ryan specifically, can you guys think of a game that you didn't like because you thought it was too easy?
Let me think.
Well, like,
Devil May Cry 2.
It doesn't have to be platformer specifically. You just And it could be any sort of game.
Devil May Cry 2 is the biggest offender in my eyes because that comes off the heels of a game series that sold itself on being hard. But even on its highest difficulty setting, there was only one point in the game that ever gave me any difficulty, and it was for a bullshit reason rather than a good design reason. There was one of the bosses in an underground section in Lucia's story is a giant fish, and in the harder difficulties, it turns invisible for temporary points in time. On the highest difficulty, it's permanently invincible. Now, what is the problem with this? Well, when it's invincible, you can't lock onto it with your ranged weapons, and the camera is fixed. Yeah.
Now, I haven't played this, but John, I have a feeling that Final Fantasy Mystic Quest might be one of those for you.
Yes. That is actually the example I was going to bring up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That is a pretty good example. I've only played through about half of the game, but yeah, it's very simplistic.
Mystic Quest was designed for the beginners of an RPG.
And Americans.
Stupid
Americans.
For stupid, lousy Americans. And I think it did its job too well. Because they're just, besides, because one thing I love about Mystic Quest, great soundtrack. In fact, one of the greatest SNES soundtracks you can possibly listen to. But that doesn't mean shit if the gameplay is so bare bones and utterly non-existent that you just don't have a good time regardless.
How bare bones is it?
You go in a straight line, you fight enemies that are blocking hallways. They're not random encounters, they're encounters on the map, but that doesn't mean shit because you can't avoid them. There's a boss at the end of each area after you've gone in a straight line far enough. And there's you have one party member that you directly control, and every so often you get a guest party member who follows you around.
It's it introduces the formula of its entire game is in the first 10 minutes of the game, and it just keeps repeating over and over and over again. I haven't played it in a while, a long while, and I don't remember anything about that game's story, character development, if there's any. Just the music, and that's what I qualify as a game that's too simple for its own good.
There isn't really
okay,
any.
Well, it's good to know that I still have that mentality. That's good.
It's how do I put this? Imagine the blandest, most basic RPG Maker creation you've ever played. Have you ever played one? And then multiply that by 0.5%. And you've got Mystic Quest.
Our BrainScratch RPG that few people are making at its alpha stage is a better experience than Mystic Quest. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. No, it actually is. It's got more pizzazz and it's got more personality, and Mystic Quest is just kind of eh.
What about you, Ryan? Can you think of anything?
But
nothing really springs to mind. I would say something along the lines of Star Fox Assault's ground missions, because it has stuff you can do, but in the grand scheme of things, you can just stick with the main blaster and everything's all right. There's no real variety to it.
Yeah, it's an easy trap to fall into.
Yeah.
Look at all these options. Well, I don't need them.
I'm already holding a gun.
There's a name for it. There's a game design name for it. I forget what it is, but if you give players an option that always works, they will never stray from it. And I can't remember what the name of it is. But yeah, if you give players a whole range of options, but there's one that's clearly better than all of the rest, there's no reason for the player to use any of the other stuff, so they'll just stick with that one, and it makes the game boring for them because there's no variety to anything. So.
Better is one thing, but my main issue with it is actually that it's like there are options in games that are just as effective when you have them as the main option that you go with, except you have to go out of your way to get them, so you never bother.
Unless you hear from someone else that it's really worth it to go out of your way to get this one weapon or item.
Yeah. Is like, you know, in Devil May Cry, you could very easily stick with your main weapons, your gun and your sword, and do just fine. But you don't necessarily mind switching to the other weapons, because once you have them, you have them. They're there, and switching to them, switching between them, provides you some variety. And none of them is necessarily less effective than the others. Well, most of the time, the axe in DMC is kind of, you know, really, really overly good. So you're just going. So instead of gravitating to whichever one's better, you're going to gravitate to which one is more fun for you. Which in my case is the sword, but some people just really like playing with the with Lucifer. Some people really like putting in the effort to learn how to use the electric guitar in Devil May Cry 3.
There's an electric guitar in Devil May Cry 3?
Yes, and it literally spawns electricity.
Oh yeah!
It's a fairly difficult weapon to master, but it's really good in the hands of people who know how to use it, apparently.
Hey, Eddie Van Halen Demon Hunter would be a badass video game. I'm just gonna say it right now.
Did Van Halen ever get his own video game though?
Oh no!
I know Airship did. I was gonna bring that up.
No, the evil monkey woman just stole.
Oh, we
stole
should
the
probably
tornado.
do something about that. Yeah.
Should we do something?
I like how that airship has wings and propellers. It's like, do you think you have enough flight mechanisms on that thing? Do you have any room for a defense system? Didn't think so.
Oh, so we've got one last world to go through then?
Well, what if they
Yep.
just made an extra bill?
Oh man, a ship shaped like a bird. That reminds me of Shining Force 2. Now I'm feeling nostalgic.
See a boat like this and just think Rainbow Cruise.
The Smash Brothers level or the Mario 64
Yes.
level?
I like how the construction of that place was basically like one big Mario Kart track.